Jeffery Agyapong. Mr. Jeff, please, are you here? So Mr. Jeff is kind of a father
Yeah,
to me.
Ben, can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Jeff. So Mr. Jeff is
Is
kind
it
of a
clear?
father to me. He has more knowledge and he's a youth. Let me put it like, how do so he's a whole package of impact. I mean, yeah, I've had a chance to listen to his speeches and both online and in person, and it's very powerful. Please, once again, turn your page, your book, turn it to a different page. I come to learn it. So we are all fueling our passion to make it. Mr. Jeff, please, you have it. Thank you.
Yeah, hi, Ben. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, please, we can hear you loud and clear.
This thing that I've already started giving birth to adults, I didn't even know that I had children in the form of the Almighty Ben Boatin. I met Ben at an event, and I could see how passionate he was about the things that he was doing. He was very passionate about his organization, his group. We happen to be coming from the same place, and I'm not surprised that he's doing what he's doing because time we can explain the sort of people that we are and why we want to impact the way we want to impact. We try to create opportunities, we create money, things like that. So um, um, I must say that I'm very honored and appreciative of this opportunity to engage this very beautiful audience. And two speakers who spoke before me, these are very big men, very big men. And to be on the same platform with them in itself is an honor. I have to admit, and I have to show my gratitude to you, Ben, and your team. Um, Dr. Ejima, I don't know if Ejimani, sorry if I pronounce the name right. When I projected this event, one doctor came and said, this professor lectured me in school. He's actually now a faculty member of the University of Ghana Medical School. Um, Dr. Nikoni Kwaku Koni. So, Doc, if you can hear me, he's very proud to have been lectured by you. Um, and then Dr. Amwa, that was some very good presentation that you put out there. So many things that you mentioned, I'm sure I can help out those who are on the call who would want to have some kind of support or assistance when it comes to account opening and all of that. But let me just focus on my presentation today. This is a very good one that we have a group. We have a group that is focused on trying to create an opportunity for the young ones to be able to impact. So I'll just do my bits and hopefully we'll be able to inspire the lot that's on this call, and then we can create the impact that we intend to. So we're supposed to be speaking on the youth and impact making, right? And I subtitled it "Living a Life of Service, Leadership, and Purpose." And the two speakers before me have spoken a lot about being intentional, having a purpose, putting a plan together, and learning to make some sacrifices and all of that. So I sort of will do something that will help us sort of connect the dots. Okay. But before I go on, Ben, I want to be sure if you can hear me, you can see my screen.
Yes, please, boss. We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, all right. So for those of you who are most of us here are on social media, and especially for this age bracket, you are largely on social media, seeing what is going on. So I'm sure you have an idea of who this gentleman is. Now I'm going to leave this image here. Can you identify anybody in here? Is there anybody you can identify in here? I think you can just, maybe two people can just speak quickly. Can you see yourself? Can anybody identify himself here? I'll be honored to wave at that person. I think you can unmute your mic and speak. If you identify anybody on here,
Yes,
please
yes.
let me know.
Yes.
Yeah, so say it out. Yeah, you see, you see with the Maya. Who else? Who else you see?
See a pathway.
Who else you see? Sorry?
A pathway. A pathway to life.
Okay. All right. So a couple of people on here. So you sure can see Thomas Partey. we can see our current CEO of the Cocoa Board on there somewhere. We see Lewin. We see the one and only Black Sheriff in there somewhere. See a couple of people who are supposed to be those who have made quite an impact as young people, and this was made by Advanced Media. This is us at 2021, talking about the 50 most influential young Ghanaians. So these are all Ghanaians. In the next few years, I'm hoping that we'll see a good number of you on here. Like Dr. Amwa said, you need to have a plan and say that maybe in the next year, next 2 years, this is what I intend to do. This is what I intend to achieve. And this gentleman highlighted on there, Woody Meyer, those who know him, he's a serious blogger. In fact, one of the top bloggers in this country. And I'll come back to this slide, but this is what's happened. Now, Woody Meyer, who is a content creator, has been given a diplomatic passport. And this is how he responded to it. He was like, I never thought that a village boy like me would be holding a diplomatic passport. He never dreamt about it. And then, so he was excited. And this is because of the kind of thing that he's done. And from here, you guys should Google him and check some of the things he's done. And I'm sure you will understand why he's been given that diplomatic passport. I want us to remember something, that we are not here just to dream about impact, right? But we are to prepare ourselves to make it real. We are supposed to prepare ourselves to make it real. And so I tell you
Jeffrey,
something. Yes.
sorry, please, you are sharing the wrong slide. We are seeing only a gentleman pointing at an arrow, a red arrow. Yeah.
Is the slide not moving, please?
No, it's not moving.
It's not moving.
Oh, really? Okay. Let me. Do you see my screen now? Can you confirm?
You can see your screen.
Yes, please, Francis.
Okay, so where am I on? Do you see any write up now?
Yeah, we see Odemaya, and then it's a report from GH1 TV, and then
Okay, all right. So then, okay, I get it. So I'm not going to make it full screen. I'm just going to change it and just keep it like this once you can see it. All right. So let me just proceed, right? So, like I was saying, Udemaya has been given a diplomatic passport, which is very rare and very hard to come by. And he was so appreciative by saying that he never thought a village boy like himself would be able to hold a diplomatic passport. He was very grateful to Ghanaians. But it was as a result of work that he had done, Udemaya had done, the sort of impact that he had made in the Ghanaian tourism space. And that's what earned him this thing that he has. So I was saying that from here, you can Google him and check him out, and you would understand the kind of things that he has done that's made him earn that diplomatic passport. It will tell you how much impact he has had. So I was saying that today we are not here just to dream about the impact, but to prepare and to prepare ourselves and make it real. That's what we intend to do. So from this presentation, I'm sure and I'm hoping that we'll be able to have that in mind and be able to achieve that. Now, I tell you what, this is what he said. That's in 2021, he actually visited a certain community in Nigeria, and then he passed a comment. It was like, oh wow, he's saying streets being named and all of that. He just praying and hoping that one day a street will be named after him. So this gentleman pointing to the red arrow, and that says Udimaya Street, is actually a street, a signpost that was made by a group in Nigeria, Lekki Estates, Havens Homes, who named the street after Udimaya. And then they were saying that they are very proud to unveil Udimaya Street. It's not just a signpost, but a tribute to a man who has given so much without expectation. But remember this, that Doc Ejimani said that we are not a people who are willing to sacrifice. And bear in mind that if you're able to sacrifice, have all these community engagements and things like that, one day someone will notice it. This is something I want us to remember. So Heavens Holmes said that this is just our way of saying thank you for the stories that he's told, the perspectives that he's changed, and the lives that he has inspired. That's Wudimaya. And this is a Ghanaian like us. So that's a gentleman. And And I want us to think about this and remember. Now, in sharing this story, I didn't ask for his permission or anything, but it's online. And it's just something for us to be able to relate and say one of us has been able to get to a point where he's being recognized internationally. And in his own home, he's been recognized. To get a diplomatic passport in itself, it is not an easy thing. So I want us to remember again, today we are here not to just dream about impact, but to prepare ourselves and make it real. All right. So I want us to ask ourselves something. If the world, right, were to write a story about you today, what would it say? What would the world say about you as you listen to me? What would the world say? Will it be a story of survival or a story of impact? I want you to think carefully about this. Will it be a story of survival or a story of impact? Will it be any story at all? Let's think about these things as I move on with the presentation. I'm hoping to be able to capture all my points, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to impact somebody on here to be able to change, perspective, be intentional about the things they do, and then impact. So it's going to be in 4 parts. A simple question: why impact matters. Now, how oftentimes we think about ourselves. Doc before me said that people want to go to heaven, but they do not want to die. They think of the idea of dying itself is unheard of, right? But I want us to think, why does impact matter? Life beyond, you need to think of life beyond self, right? Don't think about just what you are going to gain. Udimaya wasn't expecting anything. He focused on looking at how he could change the narrative about Ghana. He moved it to Africa. He's trying to change how people think about us. We are not just a group of people. We are not a group of people that live on trees and do things anyhow. We have big men and women amongst us. And he tried to change that narrative, let them know that Africa is beautiful. So life beyond self, beyond what you want as an individual. What kind of impact do you want to leave? How do you want to be remembered as a young man, as a young woman listening to me, right? How do you want to be remembered? And I want you also think about one thing, that service in itself, service is leadership. Once you are giving a certain service, now Doc said how he takes a group of people from University of Ghana, takes them to the community to see the mentally challenged people, to feed them, to encourage them, to talk to them. Now, true leadership is about service, not a position. You don't have to be the CEO of a group. You don't have to be the SRC president. You don't have to be the JCR president or general secretary. You don't have to be the youth leader. Just in your space where you are, that service that you provide in this self, that is leadership. When you notice a need in community, the community, like Ben has realized and set up this NGO in itself, that is leadership. You are serving, not hoping to be paid, but you to impact, right? That's what I want us to think about. And a third point in this regard, that's once you are a youth, most of us on here, and Dr. Amwa was telling us earlier how our definition of youth cuts up to 40, so it means that all of us, we 18-year-olds are also part of the youthful bracket. So it's very good. Now, youth equates energy, creativity, and fresh ideas, right? And the history in itself has proven that young people always drive the movement. They always do. Young people always drive the movement. If you listen to the news around Kenya issues where the parliament was forced to change certain things that the government was trying to do, it was the youth. South Africa, changing of the apartheid, was the youth. Nepal, the government running away from the country. I don't like the whole chaotic thing about it. I was a youth. That's how powerful we are. You are energetic, you are creative, you have fresh ideas. All right. I want us to think about service in this way. And Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time, he said that service to others is a rent we pay for living on this earth. That's it. Now, when you serve somebody, you are just more or less justifying your inclusion. Somebody will remember that at some point and will also would reward you. So let's think about it. This is why impact in itself, it matters. So I'll move on to the pillars of impact. And there are 4 key things I want us to remember as a young person that you need to unlock. You are looking at your purpose. You are looking at personal growth in itself as the first 2. And I explained the first 2. You need to discover why you are here on this earth. There's a book called The Purpose Driven Life by Rick Warren. Those of you who don't know it, please look for it and read about it. But you need to care, the things that you care about, note them down. All the things that bother you, write them down. Those will be your keys to certain things of impact. Trust me. This gentleman, Professor Jeffery Agyapong, Dr. Jeffery Agyapong, Zoom Lion, right? He was very concerned about the debt in this country, and he set up Zoom Lion. What kind of impact is he having? Now he's in many African countries. Okay, all the things that go with it. In the end, he's created opportunity for a lot of people. What do you care about? What problem keeps you awake? So I want you to, and Ben already told you, take out your notebooks and then write that problem that you love to solve in society. Just write it down. That may be your game changer. And as an individual, you see, you cannot impact if you personally are not growing, right? So, and you cannot, I mean, you cannot, there's no way that you pick an empty cup and pour. Even in the Bible, I'm a Christian. The Bible, when Elisha visited that widow, he asked her to bring so many pots, a lot of pots. And so far as there were so many pots to be filled, the oil that she was pouring kept coming until the pots finished. All right. You cannot pour for an empty cup. So you have to make you're constantly gathering information, you're constantly updating your knowledge, you're constantly learning something that will make you somebody that people want to listen to. All right. So continuous learning, discipline, building resilience, trying to be a better person than you were yesterday, trying to do all of that. That is very important, right? So one of the ways that you can help your personal growth is when you read, when you seek mentors, when you grow your network. So being here on this call in itself is a good start. And so you should keep it up. Now, the last two of these pillars of impact, volunteerism and service. And Doc already talked about what he does on a periodic basis. There has to be something that you identify and then you do. When I was on campus myself, I was with the psychology department. We used to go and volunteer at the Accra psychiatric ward. It was quite an experience. So many things that we had, and that volunteering thing changed my perspective on a lot of things. And it's worth noting that volunteerism in itself is the cheapest school of leadership. If there's an opportunity for you to volunteer in any group, do it. That will grow you. Serving in very small ways, it leads to bigger opportunities. Because you remember Dr. Amwa said that I know Ben, I worked with him. So when he asked me to come on this, I didn't hesitate. That is a testimony. And we should all have people like that who say, I know this gentleman. I worked with him. I know this lady. I worked with her. I've heard about her. I've seen her works. I would like to give her this opportunity. Let's bear that in mind. So serving in small ways, many small ways, they lead to bigger opportunities. And so all these community cleanups that we do, we teaching around your church, your mosque, community initiatives, those are growing you. And then you don't end it there. Leadership is through action. And you don't have to be in a Bible. We are very young people. One was a what do you call it? A king at the age of 8, very young. Even this gentleman, one of these Roman Caesars who died very young. He conquered the whole world. I've forgotten his name. It just escaped me. He was also very young. So it's not just about age, it's about the actions you take. So take those initiatives. Start so small projects, school clubs, digital campaign, whatsoever. And I would encourage most of us here who have the ability to run campaigns digitally to do that. You'll be noticed. You never know who would support you. So these 4 pillars, let's remember it and make it a part of our intentional way of trying to grow so that it becomes pillars for us to impact. Now part 3, I'm going to talk about some practical strategies for us very, very quickly. Before then, I want us to digest all the things that we have discussed quickly. Think about it carefully and as I zoom in. So these are some practical strategies. Now, you need to, and there are 4 in number. You need to identify what your skills are as an individual. Are you the kind of person that is able to do presentations at short notice? Are you the kind of person who is able to engage people older than you? Are you able to raise money, huge sums of money? Are you able to design? Are you able to sing, dance? Are you able to cook? I mean, remember that these are skills. and skills that are acquired can never be taken away from you. One of the things that I told myself when before I jumped into the job market was to acquire skills in a way that whatever it is that happens in whichever organization that I was working in, I will never be found wanting. So that we know when you acquire skills, right, and you're working, and for some reason you are taken out because of downsizing and all of these things, right? The skills that you have will help you acquire certain things. You'll be able to make ends meet because you acquire those skills. So I want you to think about that skill impact match. All right. Identify those skills of yours that you can use to impact. So if you know how to cook, for instance, and you're doing a soup kitchen, you're going to help. For instance, you want to join Doc, right, in his engagement with the mentally challenged persons. You could be the one cooking. You could label your food, and you could indicate that this is your contribution to that. You'll be amazed at who will notice you, and what kind of projects or what kind of contracts you might get. So identify those skills, just two of them, and then ask yourself, how can I use these skills to help others? Bear in mind that these are practical strategies you're looking at impacting. How can you use those skills to impact and help others, right? Now start small, but think big. How are you going to help out? And so I'm trying to bring relatable examples. Prof just mentioned that there's what is experienced as donor fatigue, and he sort of gives a third or two thirds or three, a third or two thirds of the amount that he needs to be able to achieve that. Somebody on here could help organize the people. Somebody could help bring some kind of energy to the whole thing, or do a data campaign about what Prof Doc is doing, where the mentally challenged people are concerned. You could cook and provide that. You brand it very nicely and give to him as they go to the psychiatric ward or wherever it is that he finds in those people. And that is how you can start, right? So impact doesn't always start with money or big titles. You don't have to be known as a Chef Bassi, who's trying to Hilda Bassi, who's trying to cook or break the Guinness World Record for the biggest jollof making whatever. You saw the wahala she went through. It's huge. It requires quite a number of sponsors and all of that. You don't necessarily have to go that way. Prof takes just 4 people, a number of people to go and engage those in the psychiatry ward and stuff like that. If you know how to cook, you could probably package some very good food, give to him or go with him and do that. If you know how to create or write stories, you can actually talk about what he's doing to highlight what he's doing in the community. That is your way of starting, and you could now start your own blog through that. So pick that one thing that you can do this month. Sorry, can I be heard, please?
Yes, please say you can be heard loud and clear.
Okay, all right, sure. So pick one thing that you can do this month to make someone's life better. Just pick one thing. Now, in the next slide, there are 2 more. Find your tribe. Now, each one of us here are coming from different places. I am Kwewu, and I know there are some people on here who are. Some people are Ewes, some people are Gans, and this all back here and welcome challenge that is going all over the place and all. You see how people are very passionate about where they are coming from, right? People associate with like-minded people. People associate with people from the same place, or they have things that they can connect to, or they believe in similar ways. Now, your tribe are like your like-minded people. Find your tribe. So when I say find your tribe, find people who are like you and work together. To surround yourself with like-minded persons and positive peers, right? Join organizations and clubs and online communities. Find that tribe, commit to the tribe, sacrifice for the tribe, learn from the tribe, and impact through the tribe, right? Rise Impact Foundation is one of such a group that you can join. Those who are on here, I believe that you are members of it. The one in the middle is something that a few of us, my sister put up. It is also about impacting. Now we all know Bastard Boys, right? Bastard Boys are doing a lot in the community. These are practical ways of impacting. Joy Foundation creates opportunities, and then it goes to equip the young people, unite them, and grow them. Now we know what the Basketball Boys are also doing. So you need to bear this in mind. Look for like-minded clubs, communities, join them, and start from there. That's how you impact. And remember that consistency in the things that you do towards your growth is always greater than its intensity. So the fact that you start on a gradual basis and you're consistent about it, you say that every month I'm going to call Doc and contribute something to what he's doing towards the empowering and encouraging of these mentally challenged persons, for instance. That is consistency. You do every month. You would help him. You take some burden off him. Now, Dr. Amma talked about being financially conscious and saving towards the difference between investment and savings and all of that. You in savings or investing, you being consistent about what you are doing in terms of saving, for instance, it helps you grow. You don't have to, okay, I started list, so you need 5,000 CDs to put, that'll put some burden on you, right? But if, for instance, you start maybe every month 100, every month 200, in a way that you can continue, you realize that by the time the year ends, you would acquire so much. So small, consistent actions, they change lives more than one big off effort. Let's remember that. Now, I'm going to go to the very final one. That's your responsibility towards your society. Now, I want you to remember this very clearly, right? As we are here, we are social beings. Doc also said that you have parties and things that you have to join. It's not mandatory. It's not a force, but we do it because we are social beings. We need to belong. We need to feel a part of a group, which is very important. Okay, but you have a responsibility towards the community that you are in. You are not just the leaders of tomorrow. You are leaders of today. The actions that you take now affect the things that happens in future. And now remember that you have a civic duty to care for your community. And I keep referring to Doug because he just talked about it. And it's something you remember that he decided to help those who are mentally challenged. It's like a communal support that he's giving them, right? And it's a good cause that you should support. Find a cause yourself and know that caring for your community in itself is a big deal. You do it with all integrity, standing for the truth and helping the vulnerable. And those are very big ways that you can impact. Very little efforts, but having very big impact. Okay. And that's something that we should always remember. Now, I'll ask us as a question: what kind of Ghana or Africa or world do you want to live in? You, as you listen to me, what kind of Africa, what kind of world, what kind of Ghana do you want to live in? And what role are you playing shaping that? Are you going to be thinking about, oh, Mahama says in his campaign promise that I'm going to do this, that, you're not doing it, so you're upset. Akufo-Addo said this and that and that and that and that. He didn't do it, you're upset. This person said this person said that. What are you doing? You, as you listen to me, what are you doing? How are you impacting the world? What kind of world do you want to live in? When you have that, remember that these are the things that you should also do. Your input, your efforts, those small things that you do also impacts the society. I want us to remember that. And I want us to go back to something that just happened. It's a sad one. We had 8 of our brothers perish on their way to go and serve or do their civic duty. Those 8 who perished, you see the kind of funeral that was given them, and you see the kind of um, should I say, support that they are because of who they were. I mean, apart from the fact that the whole situation was a sad one, what effort they had put in, how they had helped their parties, how they had helped the nation, and all that. You saw how everybody came together and supported them. Now, that's the power of impact. That is what you can acquire if you do your part. If you are your responsibility, you take it seriously and then you do your part. People would remember you. So I want us to think carefully about these things, even as I share my final thoughts. Impact in itself is not optional. It's the responsibility of the youth. Impact is not optional. It's the responsibility of the youth. If it is not you, I ask you, then who? If you are not the one supposed to impact, who should impact? And if it's not now, when should that be? ask yourself those questions, and you realize that there's a lot that you have to do as an individual. It's very, 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 very important, you know. So I hope that these things that I have shared, I have been able to unlock certain things in your mind. I've been able to open certain doors for you, and I have been able to illuminate certain aspects in your thought processes that may not have been clear, but and I've now been able to guide you on a certain path for you to think critically about some of these things that you need to do if you intend to impact us as an individual, right? So these are my small persuades and that I am sharing with you. I hope that I've been able to inspire somebody, educate somebody, and giving somebody some pointers of how you can go about the things that they want to go about. Hopefully, together we can all impact as youth, cause some changes, and be known as those who made things happen. Thank you very, very much. Ben, I'm done, please.
No. Thank you very, very, very much, sir. This is very, very, very impactful. And in fact, I have about 75 questions, but I think I'll have to hold on. And then we'll talk more on LinkedIn. We'll talk more on LinkedIn because this is very, very insightful. If the world is to write a story about me today, what will be there to write? Ask yourself, ladies and gentlemen, if the world is to write something about you right now, if the world is writing something about Juanma, Asari, Emmanuel, about Caleb, about Gertrude, about Ignatius, about Jerry, what is there to write? That is very, very important. Thank you very much, sir. God bless you. God bless you. So please, we open the forum for questions. If you have any question, kindly hand up and then you catch my eye. Yes.
If you have any questions, let me know. Yeah.
Okay. I think they want me to ask my question. So let me ask my question then. So I've been following you for a long time. I mean,
right.
It's not really. Sometimes I don't come out open, but I've been following your stories, LinkedIn. I mean, when you came for the PSA fanfare and everything, I've been following you, and I like how young you are and how you command your speeches. Very, very powerful. To nation and everything, I really admire that. So we are also youth like you. We are in our various homes with different background, different parental control and everything. And sometimes the parents seem to surprise us, and we are children. We don't have control of our own self. So this impact that we are talking about, how do we move along with our parents? Because it might be to me that I want to go out there to start something, but my mom will be like, "Oh, look at those people that were moving from the 8 gallant men that died in the
helicopter. Yeah.
Look at this tragic something that happened to them. Do you want me to lose you?" The kind of some superstitious beliefs and other things hinders us to thrive. So what would you suggest or would you say to us, some of us that our parents are trying to suppress the kind of energy that we have to make it?
Right. Okay. So Ben, it's simple. You don't build trust in a day. It's you build it over a period. And let me just give a practical example. If you know somebody amongst your peers, you know very well that anytime he gets a car to drive, any of your peers, he picks your peers a friend's car. By the time he comes back, he's bashed their lights, he's bashed the side, he's bashed something every time. And then it's a new car that you need to somebody to drive them. Will you give it to him?
Of
Let me
course,
ask
no.
you. Of course not. But you have a you happen to be enabled such that you have the opportunity to buy a very small car, right? Use it on campus, and a friend of yours comes to you and tells you that even whilst you're having lectures, Ben, please let me have this car. I want to be able to move it around for a bit. When you are done with your lectures, I can give it to you. And by the time you come back from lectures, this gentleman has gone to do some work and he's brought you money. And he tells you that because you gave him the car, he was able to do Uber services and he has the sales and he's going to give you a certain percentage of it. Now, such a person, if you have an opportunity to have a fleet of cars for someone to manage, let me ask you, would you consider him or you bypass him?
I definitely consider him.
Exactly. Our actions, the things that we do, will cause people to trust in us or not, right? Our parents primarily try to look out for the best in us, and they are oftentimes very protective. I grew up in a very protective environment such that my parents didn't want me to go out to certain places. And there are times that I don't say it's very proud of myself, but I had to lie to be able to go to certain places because I knew my dad won't allow it. I'm the kind that when I was going to school, my dad was so careful that he had to make sure that he stood by the bus, waited for the bus to move and go, took the car number of the bus, and then called the administration to be sure that I got into school. That's how very protective he was. And some of these things that parents do, it's because of maybe some history or certain things that they have known. These scenarios that I gave you, when you know some of these things, you're very mindful. So I will not fault them. On hindsight, I won't fault them at all. Before I thought it was a bit overbearing, but when I had my own, I just realized how these things work out and all of that. It's for us to, like the good book says, we need to study to show ourselves approved. You need to do it in a way that will grow or develop the trust. So you are the kind that maybe don't allow you to go out and all of that. Within that space in the house or your environment, your neighborhood, for instance, what can you do? Master Boys decided that the environment is too dirty. We come together and clean it. With time now, people are donating so many things to them. They started small from their communities. So you want to impact. Like I said, it's not a big push, that big one big thing. It's about the little things, the consistency of it. So that if within the space, even if they won't allow you outside the gates of your house, in your house itself, what is it that is in there that you can do? How can you enhance the things that your dad does? How when does he leave the house? When does he come back home? What does he do with his car? Have you thought of probably washing his car for him and saving him money from the what do you call it? The car wash? Have you thought of probably ironing his things for him for the next 2 weeks so that he doesn't have to take it to a laundry? Things like that. When you it's small, it grows you. It develops your leadership skills. When you're moving to the next step, it's very easy for them to go like have that point of reference for consideration so that you are allowed to do what you have to do. And of course, when you're giving them responsibility, you need to also show that you are mature enough to deal with it. So if it allows you an opportunity to go out and tells you come back, make sure you are home by 12 p.m. You make sure that by 11:45 you're home. So that the next time around he can push it to 1, to 2, to 3, and things like that. And that's how you can build that trust. So the superstition and all of that, those things are as a result of history, certain things that they may have heard of or known. Try and also find out why they feel that way. And that is a mark of a leader. You want to find out what the problem is and see how you can solve it. Like I said in my previous slides, what is it that worries you? It could be your superstitious parents. What is it that keeps you awake at night? It could be the fact that they don't allow you to do certain things. These are problems. Write them down. Think through them. Solutions will come to you as you engage. So I hope there's a lot more examples I can give, but I hope this gives you an idea of how you can you can also try and find ways of impacting even from within your home. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think I can see a hand up. Daniel, please, you
Okay.
have the floor.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Um, when the presenter was giving us this formal look, he made mention of something like getting knowing your tribe, which has to do with
Know your tribe, yes.
getting the right people on board with the same
Yes.
mindset, the same goal. Now,
Yeah.
when you being the originator, bringing out the ideas, people feel like
Mm.
whatever you try to carve is in the interest of you. So by so doing, how do you capture the minds of people so that you can build that kind of trust, so they will not always think like you want to amass something for yourself?
Okay. All right. That's a very good question. What's your name, please? I don't see the people speaking.
Please, I'm Daniel.
Daniel. Daniel, what do you do? Or what course you do?
Okay, I'm a student at UCC, Medical Laboratory Science, level 100.
Oh, medical laboratory. Okay. You never know. Very soon you might just discover the cure to some disease here in Ghana. Hopefully.
Ye- Yes, please.
All right. So, all right. So one thing, Doc said something about we not um being open to sacrifices. I think some of us too are a little selfish and jealous. In the sense that when you see somebody or a brother has started a group, we don't support them. We always either bad mouth or we don't give them the support that they need. And we always think that somebody has an ulterior motive. It's not going to be easy when you start something. It won't be easy to convince people to come on board. But you see, you have a responsibility to convince people. If you are going for a job opportunity, you have a job opportunity, they tell you you're going to be paid X amount of money for the year. It sounds so juicy. Because it's juicy, a lot of people want to have it. Now, how do they determine who deserves it and who doesn't? They will ask you to present your CV. They'll ask you to come and do an interview. They might ask you to do something practical, also that they can determine if you are worth it or not. That's the same way that when you start something, you you don't know it, but you are actually pitching to people when you start something. You are selling to them when you start something. Rise Impact Foundation. Ben started it. He decided that these are people that I met along the way. Let me involve them so that they can help bring some kind of content to this thing that I'm doing. We realize that those who found um should I say value in this thing that is happening will be consistent in the group meetings, in the activities and all of that. They will also pass word of mouth and all of that testimonies around, and it grows. And with time, it starts being his idea, it becomes our idea. Now, finding your tribe, like I mentioned, I said surround yourself with people who think like you. When you engage people, you find out how they think. If you are the kind that likes partying, like to stay out at night, and you're having conversations, once you are talking with your friends, you will know those who like the same things that you do and those who don't. You are the kind of person who wants to make sure that when you go to church, you always read the Bible verse so you lead the discussions and all of that. As you're having conversations with your peers, you will notice somebody who is like you. So find or surround yourself by with like-minded people, people who are positive and all of that. That is your tribe. The people you associate with, the people who are like you, the people who are willing to sacrifice for you, or you are also willing to sacrifice for them. That is your tribe. Okay. So as to how people think, forget it. No matter what you do in this world, you will never please everybody. However it is you want to go about it, you know your true purpose. Make sure you put it down. You know what problems it is that are in the society that you want to implementing them. Not everybody will agree with you and work with them. As to how they think, whether this or you want to become popular or want to be strategically positioned so that you're considered in future, those are your own personal things. But what is the heart of what you are doing? Is it going to impact the society? That's what I started with. How is it going to change the society? How is it going to impact them? How are you going to grow them and develop them? So that is what you should think about. That's what you should focus on. That is what you should allow to motivate you and spur you on. Not what people are thinking negatively. If you are true to your objective for what for why you started whatever it is you have started. Stick to will empower you, will give you wisdom, would support you, and focus on those. With time, all those who fell off or who were naysayers and all of that, they'll align. One thing I read is it said that the perfect response to those who are against you is to be successful. That's a perfect response. Those who are very, very skeptical about things you are doing, just be successful. And that will be the perfect response to them. So I hope I've answered you, and it makes sense to you.
Yes, please.
All right. Is there any other questions or any clarities that anybody is seeking? Like I said, for you can reach out to me. These are my handles. I'm very active on all of them, especially on LinkedIn. You can reach out to me, identify yourself, and let's connect. We can engage further from there. If there are ways that I can help you in whatever it is you are doing, I'll be willing to do that because I'm very passionate about youth empowerment and development. I'm a banker. If I didn't mention that, I actually have led our youth banking section, and so I know it's the kind of things that are required and what we need as a group of people. And like Dr. Amma has said before, we have the largest demography of the young ones in the world, and Ghana has from 60 to about 70% youth definition. So we have a big role to play, and let's take it very seriously. Those of you who are interested and want to open accounts so you can start your savings journey, your investment journey, and all of that, you can have a conversation with me. But overall, let's be mindful of the things that I have shared, and let's try and be very intentional about them and impact in the community that we find ourselves in. Right? Thank you.
Thank you very much, boss. Thank you very much. We are very grateful, and this is very, very insightful. I mean, personally, you fooled me, and I think I'm not ginger
I'm
to
glad.
make more. Thank you very, very much. And thank you very much. I think there are so many people who want to talk that some are actually shy. You have to turn on your camera and stuff. I'm sure they will send me the feedback, and you'll have them. You'll have them when I get them. Thank you very much, and we are very, very grateful. All right. So that's